So this is me. Back before everyone had cell phones, the Game Boy was popular. I'm figuring this picture was taken around Christmas 1989. And back then, a Game Boy was $90. So that's one of the reasons why I don't have a Nintendo Switch today. I saw the $300 price tag and felt it was too expensive. But is it actually too expensive? Well, what's $90 after inflation? That 1989 Game Boy was approximately $223 in today's dollars. Something seemed wrong. Isn't technology supposed to get cheaper? If I compare it to Macs, the original Mac Mini in 2005 was $500. But in today's dollars, that's roughly $788. So how much does a new Mac Mini cost today? It's $600. It can be even cheaper with a student discount. But definitely lower than almost $800. Yet that's comparing apples to apples. Today's Nintendo Switch is quite different from the Game Boy of yesteryear. I think a better comparison would be the Switch Lite. That's $200, which is cheaper than the inflation-adjusted $223 Game Boy. Except the Switch Lite launched in 2019. The inflation-adjusted cost of the Game Boy in 2019 dollars is roughly $186. Do you see how inflation changes the perspective? That's one data point though. So perhaps it's better to look at Nintendo consoles instead of portables. That first one is tough. The Nintendo Entertainment System launched with a light gun and a robot toy. It was expensive. So I'm moving things up to the year 1987. That was when the NES was available as just a control deck, with Super Mario Bros. As the included game. For only $100, that's roughly $271 in today's money. The cost of the newest Nintendo was way more expensive in 1991. The Super Nintendo launched with a $200 price tag, which is roughly $452 today. Interesting. I kept plugging numbers into the spreadsheet. Nintendo 64, GameCube, Wii, Wii U, and the Nintendo Switch. I think I found the problem. There were 3 generations of Nintendo systems that were priced at $200. That's on launch day. Having lived through a decade where game consoles were more aggressively priced, I haven't been as excited about the Nintendo Switch. Although, inflation adjusted, one could argue that Nintendo consoles are priced about the same throughout history. You could even strengthen that argument with the fact that the Switch, not the Switch Lite, is essentially a Game Boy and a NES combined. So, if you average the consoles, not counting the NES, it's $392.06. That means the Nintendo Switch was a good value in 2017, especially considering how well it performed this generation.